Welcome back to PoolCenter.com. Today we are going to replace the manifold on this DE filter grid assembly. Last year we noticed, if you're a regular follower of our video series, we noticed a crack in the manifold, and over the summer it developed into a larger crack until Joe was noticing DE powder in the pool. And so over the winter I had him buy a replacement manifold, and we bought the generic version. It's made by CMP. It's about $45 versus about $75, I think it was, for the manufacturer Pentair version. This one has a built-in air relief assembly too, which is kind of nice. We don't have to mess with this type of assembly here. So let's get started and replace the manifold on this DE filter assembly. First we loosen the wing nuts on the top. Okay, I want to lose those. And now I can pull the manifold off, and we have underneath the manifold a spacer. And oh, and by the way, I want to make note of the partial grid, where the location is of the partial grid, which is the one small grid, and that's right here. And that goes just to that goes into the second hole. Yes, into the second hole. And now we're going to place the new manifold on top of two bricks to reassemble it. And we're going to start with the partial grid. First goes on the spacer. And start with the partial grid, locking in the grooves here, lining up with the tab that is inside the manifold hole there. And at the same time, locking the grid into these grooves to keep them separated. Now that I've placed the partial grid or small grid, I can just continue around with all of the larger grids. Bring in the last grid. It's very important to notice the portion of the bottom spreader plate that's cut out up here to allow room for the standpipe. So make sure you position this right on top of the standpipe of the manifold as we go in with the long through bolts. And this cutout is directly above where it connects to the standpipe. And they just line up the bolts, get them to go through the manifold. And now it's the task of trying to get all of these grids evenly separated so that they fall into the grooves of the spreader plate, whose job is to spread the grids apart, keep them separated. It takes a little bit of working, a bit of jiggling around. Okay, now I can reach under with the wing nuts and tighten up the wing nuts on the bottom here. And as it gets tighter, it's easier to lock in the grids into the spreader plate. Just keep working around. tightening up a little more down here on the wing nuts.